Hello. Today I'm going to show you how to use the irs.gov website to determine what you should do if someone claims your dependent. Remember to always visit the irs.gov website frequently as things do change and the information is updated.
We are starting at irs.gov and we have put the word dependent in the search engine, and let's see what results we get. The first result we see is what to do when someone fraudulently claims you're dependent. So we are going to select that option, and immediately it tells us if you e-file your tax return and get a message telling you that a dependent on your return has been claimed on another tax return or on their own tax return, or if you receive an IRS notice CP 87A, you'll need to verify that you enter the correct information for the dependents that you claimed. If you did enter the information incorrectly, you need to know that the IRS is prohibited from telling you who claimed your dependent. So you don't even need to call and ask them. They're not going to tell you, and they tell you why. That due to federal privacy laws, the IRS can only disclose the return information if the victim's name and social are listed as either the primary or secondary taxpayer on the fraudulent return. For this reason, the IRS cannot disclose return information to any person listed only as a dependent. Now, if you don't know anyone who could have claimed the dependent, your dependent may be the victim of identity theft, and it gives you a publication that you can see. It tells you the Taxpayer's Guide to Identity Theft, and you see anytime you see the blue lettering with the underline information, you can click that and it'll open a link for you. So it tells you that you can go see this publication for steps that you can take if you feel your dependent's identity has been stolen. Now, you can also use the interactive tax law assistance found on this website to verify that you meet the requirements to claim the dependent. And once you verify that no one else is eligible to claim your dependent, then you need to take steps to protect your right to claim the dependent and ensure that you have an accurate filing. Now, here is where it gives us the steps that you would need to take. The first thing that you do is confirm that you're eligible. Once you've done that, then you file your return by paper. You claim your dependent and you mail the completed return. Click here, give you the address of where you should mail your return. It also tells us that the refund will be delayed while the Internal Revenue Service investigates. They tell you that paper returns can take 6 to 8 weeks to process, and you'll need to provide information proving that you're entitled to claim the dependent. Gives us a link to a form right here. The form is 886HDEP. Provides a comprehensive list of supporting documents that will assist in resolving your case. So you should secure copies of your birth certificate or of the child's birth certificate, proof of identity, and documents showing that the dependent lived with you at the same address for more than half of the calendar year. Recordation such as school, medical, daycare, or social service records on official letterhead from the school, medical provider, or the social service agency, or even a place that you worship. This shows names, common address, and dates. If you receive a CP 75A notice, that means that the Internal Revenue Service is investigating the information you provided and they need additional documentation to verify the dependent exemption and filing status you claimed on your tax return. Now, if they tell us right here, they give us a clear timeline that about 2 months after you file that paper return, they will begin to make the determination as to who's entitled to claim the dependent. You may receive a letter CP 87A stating that the child was claimed on another return. It will explain what you need to do and either file an amended return or do nothing. So if you claim the dependent, you know you don't have the right to, you have to file the amended return. If you claim the dependent, you know that you are the person that rightfully claimed that dependent, you don't have to do anything. Now the other person who claimed the dependent will also get the same letter. So they will have the option to amend their return or do nothing. So let's say that person made a mistake and claimed your dependent because they just entered the wrong social security number. Well, this letter will alert them that, hey, you need to file an amended return and take this dependent off. Now, if no one files an amended return and removes the child related benefits, then there's going to be an audit by the Internal Revenue Service to determine who can claim the dependent. Now, when they do the audit, you'll get a letter in a few months to begin the audit. In the audit, they will require you to provide proof that you're entitled to claim the dependent. So you have to be sure to reply completely and by the response deadline. After they decide the issue, they'll assess any additional taxes, penalties, or interest to the person who incorrectly claimed the dependent. So, you should discuss with concerned family members the claiming of children before a situation like this arises. If you want more information about who can and cannot claim a dependent and if you want to know your rights, then you should take a look at publication 501. So one thing that's very clear here is that this is not a quick process because they tell you here in this case, you'll get a letter in a few months. They tell you 6 to 8 weeks to process the return, and that 2 months after, about 2 months after you file the paper return, they'll begin to make the determination. So this is looking at about six months at least, and that also depends on how quickly you and the other person respond to the letters that you receive. So, if someone claims you're dependent, you should be prepared for a lengthy process before you get your refund. But it looks like you will ultimately get your refund. If you found this information helpful, please like and subscribe.